ready for everything you ever wanted to hear, know.
How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. With me is Leonard. If you are watching this, it is a new year. So hopefully 2021 is a much better year than 2020 was. Right, Leonard?
For us and everyone out there watching, although 2020 for me wasn't bad, we started the Nitty Gritty.
Absolutely.
I got engaged, so
yeah, 2020 was a good year for you in many ways.
Yes. So find the silver linings where you can.
Absolutely. So this week we are going to be doing another installment of our Fever Dream Matches series. Now, if you are just being introduced to our show, the Fever Dream Matches series, basically, we have multiple lists. We have a list of male wrestling names, a list of female wrestling names. We have a list of gimmick matches, a list of belts, a list of tag teams, and we put those names into a random name generator, and we see what comes up, and then we discuss who we think would win in that particular match. Sometimes it's one-on-one or triple threat or fatal four-ways, and in this case, we are introducing a belt list into it. So we will, and a manager list. I haven't added that yet. So we have all these different bags of randomness that we are putting together. And basically it's just us having fun, talking about these matches and what would happen if they were ever to actually happen. Mm-hmm. And usually we just do this and we have fun with it, even keel. But this week it's different because we are going to incorporate a little bit of a drinking game into it. Right, Leonard?
Right, that's right. So the rules for this are, if we disagree on who would win, that's a drink, which doesn't happen often, but we'll see how that comes out. We're of the same mind on a lot of stuff. If we get a matchup that actually happened in real life, or if someone is going for a belt that they really held, or is paired with a manager of LA who they really had, so something real life pops up, that's a drink. If someone faces or is somehow partnered with a version of themselves, we have different gimmicks on the list for different people, and some people were managers and wrestlers, so they could be on more than one list.
True.
So if that happens, that's a drink. I think there was, if we don't know who somebody is, if we get a name that we have no clue who it is, even if we're like, well, I've heard the name, but I can't tell you anything about them, that's a drink.
Right.
So, and then Chad tells me there's one more secret rule that I don't know about.
So it probably won't happen, but on the belt list, there's a very special belt that I put on there that's not real. It's not a real belt, but you will know it. If it comes up, you'll know it when you see it.
Okay, I did not read he made the belt list up. I did not read all of those belts, so I do not know what the belt is.
All of them are real except one, and if that not real one comes up, then that is definitely a drink. So I doubt that will happen, but you never know.
Yeah, and who knows? And we might throw in more rules as we go. Something might pop up and we go, hey, that should be a drink. You know what? I'm going to make a drink. If the Edge poster falls down again, that's a drink.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't vouch for it. So
and Leonard, what are you drinking?
I am drinking. I want something festive for the holidays. I don't like eggnog. So I am drinking a peanut butter cup, which is a kind of a cousin to a White Russian. It is milk, peanut butter whiskey, and chocolate liqueur, and I will be drinking it out of a Marty the Moosehead glass from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's very appropriate.
This is a little bit more than a shot, so I believe this will be 2 drinks per Moosehead.
So if you were to drink, are you just going to do a sip of that, or are you going to do a shot every time?
I'm going to do like a half of it each time.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'm guessing a half would be about a shot. I've got a pitcher here, about a quarter pitcher of this stuff made up next to me. And if I do run out, I do have my Squirrels peanut butter vodka that I can just do shots of if we get to that point. Hopefully we won't get to the point where I've emptied what I made.
Right. Well, my wife...
Shout out to the good people at Squirrels, by the way.
My wife tried peanut butter vodka or peanut butter whiskey several weeks back, and she really liked it a lot. But
it's really good. I made up some of these before just to try them, and they are very, very good. They do taste like a liquid peanut butter cup. They're quite good.
So I have a different, kind of a mix here. I got somebody Wild Turkey American Honey as a gift, and along with that came a little thing of Wild Turkey American Honey Sting, which means
that I have not had.
They incorporate ghost pepper into it.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
I'm taking again. That's one that I have.
Okay.
Another one that I have that we found in my wife's grandfather's basement.
Oh, that's gotta be good.
Is a old St. Andrews fine blended Scotch whiskey, and it is from 1982, aged 5 years in 1982. So this is a 43-year-old whiskey right here, and it is a golf ball.
Oh, is it opened? Has it been opened?
I don't think so.
Oh,
so
that's going to be good.
I have some interesting ones. And hopefully I don't venture beyond that. But otherwise, I also have some Johnny Blue here. So it's the very end of the Johnny Blue.
Yeah, you're mixing. At least I'm staying consistent.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. But our first match is a one-on-one. So go ahead, Leonard.
So it's one-on-one with a random belt. So, that's a good one. We have Randy Orton versus El Gigante. The belt will be, the AAA Mega Championship.
Okay. I think that's one of their major belts in AAA. So
I believe so. AAA, of course, is being a league out of Mexico, and
which conceivably El Gigante could have competed for this if he wanted to. I don't know what country he's from off the top of my head.
He's from Argentina originally,
right. So it's a little bit south, maybe.
Yes. I don't think he ever did. He of course he came to America originally because he was going to play basketball for the Atlanta Hawks. And when he got here, they found out that his knees were shot.
Right.
And they had to do something with him. So they gave him the WCW.
Right.
And he wrestled there for a while. And then he went over to the WWE, where he wrestled as Giant Gonzalez. And he had the full bodysuit, the hair on it.
Right.
And was one of Undertaker's WrestleMania opponents. I believe WrestleMania 9, right? Was them. Randy Orton, of course, is the son of Bob Orton, nephew of Barry O. And yes, I had to mention that. And you know what? For mentioning Barry O, I'm gonna have a drink.
There you go. I'm not gonna start yet.
That's okay. That's okay. I can be ahead of you. I got a lot I gotta get rid of tonight. So, and of course, he's still wrestling and was just recently, at the time of this recording, just set Bray Wyatt on fire.
Yeah, that's true. Which is another topic, but
yes, not for today. So, Chad, since I introduced it, your thoughts first on this: El Gigante versus Randy Orton for the AAA Mega Championship.
All right. Well, this would not be a good match. I can say that, and I'm not going to ramble here. I will just say that I think Randy Orton would take this. And initially, when I thought about it, I thought to myself, how would he even do it? Because El Gigante was a very tall, large man. He didn't do a lot in the ring. He wasn't very good in the ring, as we know, if anybody has seen his matches. But I feel like Randy Orton would get to the top rope and would be able to put the RKO on him from like a heightened position. And I think that would do it for El Gigante. So I'm picking Randy Orton pretty easily here.
As much as I want to argue the other side, I don't think you can.
Yeah.
And my thoughts are the same, that it's going to be a springboard, a top rope, something where he's hitting the RKO out of an elevated position. And I think that's going to look cool. I'm trying to think of when he's like hit it on the Big Show, which I know he has. But El Gigante, I believe, was legit 7 foot.
Yeah.
And again, not very good. And I don't see this being a good match, as you said. I think it's just going to be El Gigante like chopping Orton and putting him in a head vice.
Yeah.
And just doing a bunch of stuff until Orton makes his comeback and hits the big spot RKO. So, unfortunately, outside of my ceremonial Barry O reference drink, no drinks this round, as we both agree that Randy Orton would win the AAA Mega Championship. Add that to his long line of belts won in advance.
All right. So we'll move on, and I'm going to do the names for this one. This will be a triple threat match with females.
Okay.
And the names that we have here, and I'm going to have to do a drink here in a second. So we have Deborah making a return.
Yes.
Deborah versus Jordynne Grace versus Sonya Deville.
Okay.
And the reason I'm going to have to drink is because although I know the name Jordynne Grace, I don't know what she looks like right now. So.
Okay, she is, I do, so I don't have to take a drink. She is on Impact. I don't know if she's currently the Impact Ladies Champion, but she was at one point having feuded with Taya Valkyrie. I believe she might have recently lost the belt. Again, I'm not watching Impact a lot right now. She is a bigger gal, I'll say that. But one who I actually liked when I was watching Impact there for a while. So I don't need to drink because I know who she is.
So that was the Wild Turkey American Honey Sting right there.
How's that?
It was fine. You know what? They dialed the Ghost Pepper way back, if it's even there at all. I expected it to be really, really strong, but it was not. So
it could be an extract, like
yeah.
just like an eyedropper.
You know what? When they put that extract stuff in any of those sauces, that's when you know there's trouble coming. Let me just tell you. Because then they're just going for heat. But we're off into the weeds here. So since I introduced this one, Leonard, who do you think? I find it hard to believe that we would disagree here, but who do you think would win this?
You know what? I think we might. I think we might because, okay, of course, Deborah is a non-factor in this. She was never really a wrestler. She did compete. As we discussed with her before, she was married to Steve Mongo McMichael. She was married to Steve Austin. She managed Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart, among other people. And she was a primary person that Jerry Lawler would yell puppies at, but definitely not a real wrestler. So she's out. So this is kind of comes down between Jordynne Grace and Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville, of course, is in WWE right now. Great female wrestler. But you know what? I'm going to give this to Jordynne Grace because I have seen her. I think she is a talent. I think she's a lot bigger than Deville. Deville is, of course, I think this comes down to Deville using her speed and agility against the strength of Grace. I think that Deborah just winds up mucking up the works, and I think Grace is going to catch Deville and hit her with a big power move and get the win. So I'm going with Jordynne Grace as the winner of this triple threat.
Well, you know, I was looking up Jordynne Grace just so I knew what she looked like here, but you know, I can't logically go with her because I can't defend it because I don't know a lot of her work in the ring. I'm sure she's very good, but that's what makes this fun and random, right? So I'm gonna have to go with Sonya Deville because I am familiar with her, and I think she was, you know, she's a very tough character and seemed to be pretty good in the ring. I don't know that they know what to do with her a lot, but I think that she has a future if she finds her groove and finds a character that really works for her. But in the case of this, I think Deborah quickly is, you know, gotten rid of outside the ring. So I agree with you in that who it comes down to, but I'm going to go with Sonya Deville simply out of ignorance. So this would have to be another drink because we disagree. All right. Well, that's all right. So you drank there.
I did drink there, and I will get a refill. Why don't you introduce the next one while I'm refilling? Of course, that's the one I'm going to run.
Right. So next we are going to, this is the first time. Now, we did do on our last Fever Dream matches, we did do tag team match where we picked 4 random names and just had them team together. But in this case, we actually put tag team names onto a list. And luckily, with this random name generator, it filters out doubles because I guarantee there are doubles on my list. But we put all the tag teams I could think of and I could find into a list, and that's what we're going to do. This is our first time doing 2 tag teams and also a manager with these tag teams. So that is what it's just 2 tag teams. So Leonard, go ahead.
2 tag teams. Okay, so this is another fun one. It's another one where I think where we know the talent involved. So the first team, and one thing I have to get on you, Chad, is that you didn't put You just put the team names. You didn't put who was in the team.
That's true. That's because there was a lot of copying and pasting going on.
Yeah, so if we get a team where we don't know who the team is, I would say that's a drink. But we know who these guys are. I would say we do. So the first team is the Mega Powers, which would be Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan. And their manager is going to be Scarlett Bordeaux, currently with Karrion Kross on NXT.
Yeah.
And they're going to be going up against the Chris brothers and Dave and Jake, who was most recently on Impact. And their manager is going to be Disco Inferno.
Okay. Well,
so the Mega Powers with Scarlett Bordeaux versus the Chris brothers with Disco Inferno.
Well, I'm not as familiar with the Chris brothers. I know who they are, pretty much, but I certainly know the Mega Powers. And I mean, there's very few tag teams I think you could have put here that would have made me pick something against the Mega Powers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking about two of the biggest names in the business. So,
right.
And I could see somebody like Scarlett with them in a different era and maybe different costuming, but I would definitely pick the Mega Powers here. I think that they win this easily.
Yeah, I can't go against this. It sounds like almost like a joke match. From what you said, the Road Warriors are the only team that comes to mind where I think you could argue them going over the Mega Powers. Of course, Road Warriors back in the day, Road Warriors. Yeah, I mean, this is not one. This is a match. I think, like it's like, so the Mega Powers are going to have like a big like pay-per-view match, and this is like the match on like the Superstars or the Saturday main event leading up to it to get them ready for it. You know, some guys that they could, you know, the Chris brothers are smaller dudes. They can, you know, they can take a lot of bumps. They're just going to, you know, get bounced around by the Mega Powers. Disco's going to get involved. Disco's going to get beat up. You know, this is just a match to put the Mega Powers over. So yeah, can't really argue this one. Got to go with the Mega Powers easily. So no drinking on this one, unfortunately.
Well, that's good. So we are going to move on to our next match here, and that is a triple threat match for the guys. And this one is going to have a gimmick attached to it.
All right.
So, Leonard, are you ready for this?
Yes, hit me with it.
So I think you'll know all three of these names.
Okay.
One of them, I as we were doing it, like I did have to, like, I was like, I know the name, I can't place it, but I had to do research, so I cheated a little bit. But it is Dr. Luther versus Bart Gunn versus Dave Taylor in a scramble cage match.
Since we don't know what a scramble cage match is, that's a drink.
We definitely have to drink. The only way to eliminate the opponent is to dive onto them from one of the platforms on top of the cage.
What? Who does that? Who has that?
The number of injuries sustained in this match, no other. So I guess there's only been one. There hasn't been that many scramble cage matches. Okay.
And I don't know who Dr. Luther is.
Okay.
So I'm finishing the mug of Marty the Moosehead.
So Luther he's in AEW. He's currently signed to All Elite Wrestling. And he just I guess he had a match with Chris Jericho not too long ago. So he has I don't know much about his life, but I mean, he has bald head, and he faced Chris Jericho. They knew each other from way back when. I think he was like one of Chris Jericho's first matches ever.
Really?
And that was like the history part of it. So yeah, we didn't know what the scramble cage match was.
Yes, that's and I finished the mug because I didn't know who Dr. Luther was. Of course, Bart Gunn was one half of the Smoking Guns with Billy Gunn. He won the Brawl for All, got knocked out by Butterbean, had a pretty decent career in Japan for a while. And then Squire Dave Taylor was one half of the Blue Bloods, along with Bobby Eaton and William Regal. And I was very surprised when he came back he was in WWE for a little bit, tagging with Regal again as well. I thought it was weird. So Yeah, so those who those guys are. Yeah, I guess it's mine to go first since you randomized it.
So let me just read the
Yeah.
rules here of the
Okay.
scramble cage. So the ring is surrounded by a steel cage with 4 wooden platforms at the corners of the cage to make the high-risk wrestling moves. All participants are allowed to be inside and outside the cage at any time.
Okay.
If that
So-
helps you at all.
So does it end with a pinfall or submission?
I think that's where, like, you have to, I assume it's a pinfall, like, or they have to dive. What did I say before? They have to dive onto the other person?
Dive onto him from a platform.
This is a Ring of Honor match, and we clearly have not done our homework.
Yeah. Well, that's why if we don't know something, it's a drink. That's why it's
Right.
part of it. So yes. Okay, so since I don't know Dr. Luther, the fact that Bart Gunn or Dave Taylor are going to be jumping off platform
Yeah.
into
Yeah,
a,
it says
into a ring.
the only way to eliminate an opponent is to dive onto them from one of the platforms on top of the cage. So if it's an elimination type match, then that's how they would do it. And Dr. Luther
Okay.
is certainly a heavier set guy as well. So this is not the
Okay,
match
so-
for them.
No, this is not. I don't think. Yeah, this is definitely a flippy dude match.
Flippy dude, that's a Leonard term for sure there.
Flippy dude. A Leonardism's a drink. I'm going to drink on flippy dude. When people watch this, they can't say, "Hey, Leonard didn't, cheat out of drinks." I'm making up drinks.
That's
Since I don't know Dr. Luther, I'm down to considering Bart Gunn, Dave Taylor in this bout. So I'm trying. Dave Taylor versus Bart Gunn might not be a bad match because they're both just burly, slugging, sluggers. So that might be a fight. That might be a nice fight to see. If I'm thinking who's more mobile, it's probably Bart Gunn, especially back in the day during the Smoking Guns era. So due to his more mobility, I'm going to go with Bart Gunn as the winner
Yeah. If, at least in this one, I don't think we would disagree here. I think athletically, compared to the other two, I think Bart Gunn would win this, especially given the nature of the match and how you have to eliminate the opponents. Bart Gunn didn't have a ton of personality, and as if anybody saw Dark Side of the Ring, they know how he was shafted a little bit with the whole Brawl for All situation. But he was a legit tough guy, and I think that he would win this match. I think he and Dave Taylor, as you said, would be a genuinely good match, but Dave Taylor being more of the William Regal British style of wrestling, I don't think this a scramble cage match where you dive off platforms would suit his style or approach. So I would go with Bart Gunn here as well. So there you have it.
All right.
And so we have to move on now to our main event.
Yeah. Although we may have some dark matches after this.
Absolutely, because we haven't. I feel like we haven't had enough drinks. That's
we need to have some dark matches. But let's do the main event first.
So in this case, for anybody, oh my God. Okay, so if anybody's watching at home, our main event here is always a fatal four-way, because that's what spurred this idea originally, is a fatal four-way. And currently, our champion is Sami Zayn. And last time we did this, we had a number one contenders match based on some of the other matches we had where Ministry Taker battled Mojo Rawley, and Ministry Taker took that. So they are automatically in this fatal four-way. Sami Zayn, Ministry Taker, and Leonard and I are both drawing a name, and I've already drawn my name. Leonard, have you drawn yours?
Mine as well. Again, this is for the Fever Dream World Championship.
Okay, that's right. So we right now have Sami Zayn versus Ministry Taker and versus my pick, which is Dory Funk.
Nice. And my pick is Luke Harper.
Okay. So, wow, this is an interesting fatal four-way to me.
This
is tough. This is a tougher one to think about. And, I'll start here with my pick.
Okay,
so Ministry Taker, as I said in the last
time. While you do that, I'm going to have a thinking drink.
There you go. last time we did this, Ministry Taker, I talked about how it was one of my favorite versions of The Undertaker overall. I loved the evilness of him. And Sami Zayn, I think, is very good. I think he's doing really good stuff on SmackDown. I don't watch SmackDown a lot. I check into highlights, but I like Sami Zayn. I think he is a great underrated talent. Even though he's Intercontinental Champion, I think they could use him for other stuff. So I think that he's a good addition to this match, but he then is going up against Dory Funk and Luke Harper. And Luke Harper obviously is doing really good stuff with AEW. He might be injured right now. I'm not sure. He hasn't been on TV in a while.
Yeah.
But he was TNT champion there for a little stretch. So I like him a lot. I like his character in AEW. Dory Funk obviously is a legend in his own right. But I'm going to have to – I think that this comes down to – I think Dory Funk, based on how – advanced and how much the athleticism of some of the other guys has progressed, I don't see him winning this, despite how much of a legend he is. I think Sami Zayn is too small for some of these other guys, and I hate to sound like Vince McMahon there, but Sami Zayn, as athletic as he is and as great as he is in the ring, this is three different pretty big guys that he's going up against. So I think the size does matter here. And I think this comes down to Luke Harper versus Ministry Taker, which is a match I would have loved to have seen in a different world. So I am going to go with Ministry Taker as the new champion here on our show.
Well, we discussed this with some other matches. Sammy seems like he's just there to bump for the other guys because he's so much smaller than the other dudes. I can't say that I've seen Dory Funk in his prime. I've seen later Dory Funk.
Right, that's the other thing. Like, how many matches have we really seen Dory Funk in?
Yeah, I know I've seen a couple late 70s stuff. I've seen, when he was Hoss in WWF. So I can't really say a whole lot about Dory in his prime. So for me, too, this comes down to Ministry Taker versus Luke Harper. And I think that would be kind of a cool match and a good match, especially if you consider, like, the Wyatt family version of Luke Harper up against the darker kind of Ministry Taker version of Taker.
Right.
So I think that's a cool matchup. So I think so definitely you're down with those two guys. And it's just, as much as I would like to make an argument for Luke Harper, I don't think you can argue against Ministry Taker, because not only was this a very cool version of The Undertaker, it was still a version where he could go. He was still very athletic. What I like to call Lucha Taker. That's the Taker who is still doing dives to the floor and different things.
Right.
And I just don't think you can do that. So I think Zayn and Funk wind up getting knocked out, and I think it comes down to Harper and Taker just reversing some big moves on each other and Stone taking it. So I gotta go Taker.
Well, there you go. So our pay-per-view card here ends with a new champion in Ministry Taker, and working his way up the card to potentially be a number one contender. I don't think he's there yet. Is Bart Gunn, who won the Scramble Cage match.
Right. Right.
So he's in the running there, and I guess we'll have to discuss the female tournament at some point.
Yes, we're gonna need a female belt.
So Leonard, I know by looking at you that you're doing other names.
I'm doing other names. So we're gonna have some dark matches. We're gonna have some
All right.
Keep drinking. So what I just generated was a singles men's match with managers, since the managers list is new, and I've got Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, aka the Leprechaun, being managed by Buddy Rogers, up against Charlie Haas, being managed by Jackie Gaeta.
Wow.
That was Charlie. Was Charlie with Jackie, or who was Jackie with?
That's a real life match right there.
Yep, that's real life shit. That's a drink.
And I've moved on to the 43-year-old golf ball whiskey here.
All right, how's that treating you?
Ooh, it's aged whiskey. Not bad.
Yeah. Is it mellow? Is it smooth, or is it harsh?
It starts out with a taste that you can tell it's old.
Okay, there you go.
You know,
Tastes like mothballs.
With aging, you know, you can they go through phases, whether you're talking about wine or whiskey or whatever you're aging. And there's a time when they peak and there's a time when they decline. And I'm not sure that this one is, I think it's way past its peak, but it starts off like, oh God, that's old. But then it just tastes like whiskey in the end. So, oh, well. So, all right. So we have Buddy Lee Parker versus Charlie Haas here. And, I remember Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, but I don't think he's good enough to beat Charlie Haas, at least if we're talking about prime Charlie Haas, who was a superb athlete and, the world's greatest tag team from that era, was one of my favorite tag teams from that era, if I'm being honest. I think that they were really, really great. I'm glad that Shelton Benjamin is still doing his thing, and he's tag team champion right now, so good for him. But Charlie Haas, I thought, was really good, and he had some interesting storylines with females there for a while when he was a solo guy. But I would have to go with Charlie Haas here.
Yeah, I have to as well. I know a little bit about Buddy Rogers as a manager because I've been watching some late 70s, early 80s WWE house stuff from like Madison Square Garden, Boston Garden stuff. So I've seen Buddy Rogers a little bit. And Buddy Rogers was very much like sort of what would you call it, like an executive assistant. He would come out in a suit and he wasn't so much like a Bobby Heenan type manager. He was more of he was guiding you. He was like guiding his charges and just kind of keeping an eye from the floor. And it's very interesting to pair him with Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, of course, one half of the Highway Patrol, and he was a trainer for the WCW Power Plant under a nickname of Sarge. So he is a very good wrestler. He is, but if we're talking how you would book this, I don't think Charlie Haas loses to Parker. I think this could be an underrated match. I think that could be one of those diamonds in the rough types of matches for a show. I don't think the managers really do a lot here either which way. Of course,
right.
Jack was with Charlie in real life. I don't think Buddy gets involved.
And I didn't even talk about that, but I agree with you. I don't think the managers are much of a factor here.
You know what? Buddy Rogers with Buddy Lee Parker. I just figured that out. That's two buddies. I'm going to drink on two buddies.
Yeah, I'll drink to that as well. Two buddies.
Yeah, two buddies. I think
two buddies are doing this webcast. So
yeah, two. If someone's got the same name, same name's a drink. I was going to generate a mixed tag match, but I realized I don't have the women's list.
Well, that's okay because I did a fatal 4-way.
Oh, okay. We'll do that.
This is my favorite match so far.
Okay.
Combination wise that we've gotten.
I'm excited.
So we have Mae Young.
Okay.
Versus Dakota Kai.
Okay.
Versus Nia Jax. Versus Tori Wilson.
That is a weird mix of ladies.
It really is, and that's what makes this show fun. I hope it's fun to other people because it is fun to us.
Yes, I hope it is.
But so this is interesting. So you know what? Since I generated this one, Leonard, you have to give your pick first.
Well, of course, Mae Young is one. We saw her, older on television, but man, she was in her early 80s taking tables.
Oh man,
tables by the
tough as nails.
Tough as nails, and people said back in the day she was one of the best female wrestlers you ever saw.
Right, and people when they hear these names, people need to think of Mae Young being tough as nails, not Mae Young, the old woman. Because when I talk about my pick, I'm certainly going to take that into account.
Yes, yeah. So Mae Young back in the day was a heck of a talent. Dakota Kai is a current lady who I don't really know a whole lot about. I do know her. I do know that she's rising up the ranks in NXT. I think she's got a great future ahead of her. Nia Jax is, of course, again, depending on when you're watching this recording, she may or may not be. She is not at this time one half of the women's tag team champions.
Right.
They recently lost those titles at the time of this recording. And a lot of people get on Nia saying she's only got a job because she's The Rock's cousin. She is very sloppy. I really don't like her because not only is she sloppy, but she's shown no signs of getting better. Like she doesn't seem to want to get better.
Right.
And she's there, so she's there. And then the final name is Tori Wilson. And again, Tori is someone who I think tried.
Your face said it all just then.
She got better. She got better as time went on. I think she tried. I think she put effort in. She
Certainly in great shape.
Yeah. She was someone who she came in at a time where it was the hot chicks wrestling. When her greatest thing would have been as a valet, maybe as a backstage interviewer, definitely not being in the ring, although she did get better and more competent as time went on. So for me, I think this comes down to Dakota Kai versus Mae Young. From a booking standpoint, I think Nia Jax would go over from a booking standpoint, but I don't want to put her over in this match. So the fact that Dakota Kai, I think, is more modern, has a more modern move set, and I think that Mae Young would want to put her over to help get her over. I'm going to go with Dakota Kai as the winner of this.
Wow. See, that's interesting. Well, so let's go through it. I really like Dakota Kai, actually. I watched her in the, first women's tournament that they did, and I instantly liked her personality. At that time, she was very much a face, but she's since become a heel, and to me, she's shown her versatility in both. So I like her a lot. I think her style is really good. And other than that, Tori Wilson obviously is, she's a gorgeous woman. She really, really is. But as in-ring talent, even though she did improve during her time, she wouldn't stand a chance in this match if we're really looking at it from a wrestling point of view. Nia Jax, I don't know that I dislike her as much as you do, but I certainly agree with some of your points in that not improving. She is very much cast as the monster heel. On a side note, I really have not liked the Nia Jax storyline that's been going on for what feels like 5 years at this point, and especially with the payoff. But she plays a monster heel, and she's lost enough significant matches that it's tough to really invest in her as a character. But in this match, I agree with you in that, well, let's say maybe not. So I think that Tori Wilson is immediately put out of this. So I do think it becomes more of a triple threat. And Nia Jax versus Mae Young versus Dakota Kai. But based on that, I agree with you also from a booking standpoint. If this were Vince booking, he'd put Nia Jax to win this all day. Mm-hmm. But I am going to have to go with Mae Young here. I don't know that she would put over the younger person. I think she'd make that younger person earn it. And I think she's just a little bit tougher than everybody else in that ring. So I would have to go with Mae Young here. So that would be a drink.
That's a drink because we disagreed.
That would be a drink from the golf ball. Which is a decision I'll probably regret tomorrow. But
that's well. So
we'll do one more dark match before we sign off here.
Okay. I tell you what, I'm going to ask you to help me out on it because I was going to do a tag match with a gimmick, and I actually erased my gimmick list.
We can do that.
So give me a gimmick, and I'll tell you who our teams are, and I'm going to need you to help me out here.
Oh, God.
Okay, so first of all, we have the Kabuki Warriors, who are Asuka and Kairi Sane. We know that. But they're going up against the Nation of Domination. And I don't know which combination of Nation members you mean.
Well, and that was because the lists that I was drawing from also included stables. So in this case, you know what? Because it really doesn't matter once I tell you the gimmick. Let's just go with, who was it? D'Lo Brown and the Godfather was who in that? What was his name at that point?
Oh, Kama Mustafa.
Yeah, so we'll go with D'Lo and
I think
Kama
they were the primary tag team of the
that's why I choose them. And their gimmick.
Yeah, because it was, of course, Farouk and The Rock. And I think there was a few other members, but those were the four.
Mark Henry was there for a while.
Mark Henry, yes. But I think the main tag team was D'Lo and Kama Mustafa.
So we have the Kabuki Warriors against Kama and D'Lo of the Nation of Domination, and they are going to be battling in a pillow fight.
That is awesome. And you know what? Since the Nation of Domination was so vague that we didn't know who was in there, I'm gonna have a drink.
Why not? From the Moose mug. I should have prepared. Although I should say my shot glass is a boot.
Okay, there you go.
So
this was, I didn't mention, but this was a Christmas present several years ago for my good buddy Dan Weber, who gets name dropped on the show all the time.
absolutely. We got to have him on at some point. I'm sure he would enjoy this.
He probably would. He would love to do this Fever Dream match thing. I think he could be a guest one. I'll talk with him to see if he's got the capabilities to come on and do this one.
All right.
At some point.
So this was mainly your match.
Yes.
So
so you go first. Yes, you were just generating the gimmick for me.
You know what? My choice might surprise you. So this is a pillow fight. This is not a regular match. If this is a regular match, it wouldn't be very fun to watch because it would be men against women. But since it's a pillow fight,
Asuka and Kairi Sane they're going up against two big burly brawler type guys.
And I don't know how you win a pillow fight. I forget how you win a pillow fight, whether it's you knock somebody off the bed or what. But just because, I'm going with Kabuki Warriors here. I think they know a pillow fight better than the Nation of Domination. I don't think they would know what hit them from these two crazy girls. So
okay. I would. Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong, Leonard. Come on now.
Okay, this would be a really fun. I think a fun thing. This is like a throwaway SmackDown match.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. I would love to see the storyline that got us to this. You know, I don't know how. Even though it's a pillow fight, I think that's a gimmick that helps the ladies to get over. And again, Asuka and Kairi Sane are great wrestlers. They're tough gals. You know, I think they could hold their own in a match against D'Lo and Godfather, a.k.a. Kama Mustafa. I think they could hold their own. I think the pillow fight is probably designed for the ladies to go over, even though it would be kind of funny for the guys to win it. And I could also see part of the joke being that the guys are like dressed in like lingerie of some sort, or you know, some sort of bedwear, you know, type of thing. I you know, this is tough because on one hand, I think it's designed for the ladies to go over. On the other hand, I don't think that the guys could lose, and I think it defies expectations if they win.
This is the kind of match that makes your head explode.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the Nation of Domination. So since we disagree, that's a drink.
That's absolutely.
And I got to turn my moveset around because you can't drink from the backside. I've learned. You got to drink from the front side.
And I have finished the golf ball of 43-year-old whiskey. So
well, that's probably a good place to stop.
There's that. But you know what? Even though I said that was the last match, that's not going to be our last match.
Oh,
maybe this will be an extra. So, and you know, it's almost fitting, this match.
Okay.
So it was 1-on-1 with the guys, and I added a gimmick on it too.
Okay.
So
can I throw in a title because I generated a title?
Go ahead. What's the title?
So the title is going to be the Stampede British Commonwealth Mid-Heavyweight Championship.
Which is odd considering the two people in this match. So it is the Patriot.
Okay.
Versus Kevin Greene.
Oh, Kevin Greene, who recently passed away.
Right, who recently passed away, and it's a flag match. So that makes this right. So
and I assume this is Del Wilkes Patriot.
Yes, that's what I assumed. Was there multiple Patriots?
Tom Brandy is using the gimmick on the indie circuit.
Oh, really? See, I didn't know that.
I've seen the Tom Brandy version of the Patriot, actually a few years ago in Kaiser, West Virginia. So yeah, so he and I don't believe he got the rights from Del Wilkes, if I remember reading that. So I don't think that he's happy about there being another Patriot out and about there. But, yeah.
Well, and you know, certainly condolences to Kevin Greene's family. I have been recently going through some of the pay-per-views that he was on, listening to the podcasts from 83 Weeks. So, but you know what? Just because
I'm a drink and Kevin Greene's on.
And you know what? Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to go with Kevin Greene here, even though Del Wilkes, the Patriot, is obviously a more seasoned wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
this is a week where we lost Kevin Greene, and he always seemed like a good guy when he was doing it. So I'm going to go with Kevin Greene here. I don't know what his flag is. Maybe it's of one of the teams he played for.
Could be.
We'll just go with that.
Yeah,
What a weird flag match. The American flag versus an NFL team flag.
Apparently that's what it would be. I don't know. Yeah, because would the Patriot have a Patriots flag? So it would be the New England Patriots. The Patriot would have a Patriots flag.
There you go.
I think it's starting to hit me now. So the Patriot would have a Patriots flag, and Kevin Greene would have a flag from. He played for what? The Bears, right? Because wasn't he friends with Mongo McMichael? And that's how he came in.
Yeah, I think he played for the Packers as well.
He played for the Packers, and I want to say I'm going to Google this real quick. I want to say he was maybe with the Niners for a season.
I have him on the Steelers.
He played 15 seasons in the NFL for 4 teams: the Rams, the Steelers, the Panthers, and the Niners.
There you go.
It wasn't with the Bears. I'm sorry about that.
We've had a couple drinks, so
yeah. He came in with Mongo McMichael, so that's why I was thinking that. But so he did play with several teams in the NFL. The fact that the belt is what the belt is, I don't think really matters, even though both guys aren't middleweights.
Right.
And the fact is the British Commonwealth, when they're fighting over NFL flags, it's fantastic.
Right.
So,
and they're both Americans, so it's
it's just
Stu Hart would be having a fit with this match.
Yes. So you know what? I think if Kevin Greene's here for this, it's a special thing because he wasn't a regular wrestler. And I would like to see how we got to this point. I said that a lot of times in the matches. I want to see how we got to this point.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think because of Kevin having recently passed, because I think it would be a special occasion having him there, that he would win that. So I gotta agree with you that Kevin Greene would win, even though I believe the Patriot was the better wrestler. And you can, of course, make a strong argument for him winning a flag match over an arm wrestler.
And you know what? I can't think of a better match to go off on than Kevin Greene winning especially in the week where we lost him. So
at the time of this recording.
Absolutely, yeah. So
and before we leave, since I poured me a fresh glass,
my glass doesn't have anything in it. I have to switch to Johnny Blue after this. So I will take a drink after this is over. But for Leonard, my name is Chad. Thank you very much for joining us for Fever Dream matches. We always have a lot of fun doing it, and we will probably continue to do it just because it's so much fun. So.
I don't know if it will be a drinking game every time we do it.
No.
This was a special occasion, and I will see. I don't know about the very next time, but I will see if I can get my buddy Dan to be a special guest for Fever Dream matches.
Absolutely, and that would be a blast as well. Mm-hmm. And you know what? If he's there, we almost have to make it drinking. So just because it's a special guest.
Yeah, special guest drinking. Yeah.
So on that note, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time.